Here we go.
Each year, customers buy more and more because he makes a better oil drum than his competitors. One day, customers demand more oil drums than the owner can produce. He figures it will take about $3 million to do the job, so he decides to form a corporation to sell shares in his business to raise the capital he needs. First, the owner goes to the state government to get a corporation charter and permit to sell shares in this business. Next, our friend goes to an investment banker and shows him the record of the oil drum manufacturing company's past performance and plans for expansion. The investment banker decides to help our friend sell shares in the corporation to raise the $3 million. However, before any shares in the corporation can be sold, certain information must be filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission in Washington. The investment banker and the owner must swear that the information they file contains nothing but the truth. Registration with the SEC does not imply that the government approves the stock issue as a good investment, but only assures the public that if any of the material statements about the stock issue are false, punishment will be according to the law. After SEC registration is effective, the investment banker pays the owner $3 million in exchange for a certain number of shares in the Oil Drum Manufacturing Corporation. The investment banker sells shares of the common stock to people at a price which returns his $3 million investment and shows a profit for his services in selling the stock.
Wow. Simpler times. Honest times. Was it a lie that was honest? Holy smokes. That was that was an interesting video. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm coming to you a broken man after my Niners just blew. Very winnable game against the Lions. It doesn't matter. It's actually better we lost. It's better we lost. We got a fourth place schedule now. We get a better draft pick. But I really wanted that one game. We played a perfect first half. It was nice to just, it would have been nice. Would have been nice to just have one good win for the end of the year. But, hey, it is what it is. And, I'm just not happy. But anyways, I'm still here. I made it for you guys. I'm late because of Monday Night Football, so blame it on that. But I had to watch my team. We got one more game left this year, and I will watch it because I'm a true fan. But got lots to talk about. Seemed like a slower news day, but there's actually some interesting things going on economically, stock market wise, and Trump endorsing Mike Johnson. Got to talk about that real quick. And we just got to run through some things. There's a really interesting play going on. This FFIE, it's back, the Faraday Holdings, whatever. Same thing that ran with GameStop back in May, June. Roaring Kitty, man, just tends to send these things going. So anyways, let's see who's here. Big Swede, numero uno, Alan Krentz, dos, bien pro, what's up, Kasink? Alan says, starts at 10:33, you're late. Big B, what's up, 12:30. Where is this guy? I'm late, man. I had to watch my team. Technology, what's up? Hero, Ricky Pearsall did look good. Donald Bolio, what's up, buddy? Darren Collins, Kim Wiley, Just Mike, Girth Mike, Vince Felice gave up. The one would do. Damn it, Sean, CJ Yukon, what's up? Yeah, it's rigged. But listen, I'll explain it in a minute, Alan. I'll explain how the NFL's rigged. Phil, can't believe you're so up this late. Me either. It is late. Vinman, CBT, you're not last, you just not first. Queefer, what's up, Butters? Let's go, DJT. Richie Rich. Yeah, I've been taking care of my family. That's right. Trump said the D word depression. Yeah, I covered that last night. And then what happens? The stock market tanks today. At one point, Dow was down 700 points. Man, it's getting wild out there. And yet it's all good. It's all gravy. Everybody seems to think it's okay. It's just so wild to me. So wild to me how this continues. But Brett says a cartoon is not the updated version where Citadel algorithms sell fake shares and shorted into oblivion, and the bankruptcy phase was left out. Yeah, exactly. It's so true. The they left that out. They left the fact that you don't run out of shares. You can keep printing them forever, manipulate them, counterfeit shares. That cartoon is from 1952. 72 years ago. That's how old that cartoon was. And, it wasn't as bad back then. They had their own games they played, though. You know it's true. What's up, Gary Douche? Yahoo! What's up with Finger? Well, Luigi, not much different, but Matt says Dow Jones going to hit 41K tomorrow. It's very possible. It's absolutely very possible. All right, let's go through this because I want to hit everything I want to hit and do so in a decent time here. All right. I wanted to start with this because this is going to be quick, but Trump endorsed Mike Johnson today. Surprised a lot of people because, as Alan brought up, that depression comment from yesterday, a lot of people thought he was talking about Mike Johnson, but no, he was obviously talking about McCarthy. Today, Trump, why would he endorse Johnson after all that's going on? I have a couple theories. Number one, you don't want to throw the House into a mess on January 3rd, 3 days before they have to certify his election. If you don't have a House Speaker, you cannot lead the certification process. And so that could get delayed. Of course, the Democrats would love to delay Trump getting in, but that's just not the way to play it. And the truth is that Mike Johnson's weak, but he's been weak against a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president. I think he'll fall in line. I'm really not worried about Mike Johnson going forward. I think he's weak, but he doesn't need to be the strong one. He just needs to be a yes man going forward. And I think he'll be that. So I'm not too worried about it. The other theory is that this has all been some sort of 5D chess. Johnson has been going along with certain things with Trump's allowance in order to get things set up a certain way when he gets in. That's the kind of thing that I think is kind of crazy. I allow for it to be a small possibility. I don't think it's probably true. The truth is there's probably 25, 35 people better for this speakership than Mike Johnson, but we don't want to have that fight. Very few of them would have a chance to win. And so you gotta let this happen, got to go through it, and you got to let Trump get certified. Johnson will see to that. So that's it. We're so close, guys. We are so close. You realize we're 1 week away. Congress gets sat this Friday. That's crazy. As of this Friday, there will be a Republican Senate. The House stays Republican. It already was, but we get a Republican Senate starting this Friday. And then next Monday is certification day, baby. 4 years to the day of the great event in Democratic belief system history. Their own 9/11, bigger than Pearl Harbor Day, Jan 6, the greatest lie in modern U.S. history. And, it's there. So, hey, we'll see what happens. But here's the other part of this. Trump gets certified. If he turns on Johnson, he can easily pressure the House to kick him out. So this is not to be worried about. This is smart. You don't want to cause a speaker fight right before certification of the most controversial president. And so, listen, is it a trust issue with Mike? No, I don't trust him because he's weak. But he's not going to betray. He's been weak. Again, I say this one more time. He's been weak when he's had very little leverage, which means he's had the House and he's had a Senate against him and a president against him. So there's very little he could do. The only thing he could do is really gum up the gears, make things slower. And he's been terrible at that. And that's where he's been weak. He didn't say no enough. Okay. He sided with the Democrats too much. But once Trump's in, once the Republican Senate's in, I really don't think he's going to be playing that game again on the Democratic side. If he does, we end up with a government that's just not going to get anything done. So I'm not I'm not too worried about it. Yes, ears lowered. Thank you, Alan. What's up, Big JR? Hey, you guys. Kathy, what's up? Automags, what's going on? Matt, yeah, exactly what I was saying. Replace him with Elon now. That would be sick. Damn it. What about all the nonsense Johnson let happen around the CR a week or two ago? I agree. But you know what? Even with that, damn it, Sean, that was crazy. And then he bowed. He bowed the knee. He got the smaller bill passed, and he tried to pass the one with the debt ceiling. He actually got vote on it. So he did. He gave into the pressure from Trump. So I think he'll be a yes man. He'll be fine. I'm saying it's going to be as big as when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. Yeah, it might be, Brett. What's up, Chad? Hey, you're not that late. I'm a lot later than you. All right, let's keep moving on. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but our stocks, along with the overall market, getting crushed. 418 down for the Dow today, 235 NASDAQ. All of them down almost a full percentage point. Dow barely, but close. VIX spiking a little bit. Crypto tanking. Just it's all kind of looks like it's falling apart. But then our stocks just got reamed today. Oh, it's reset because it's after midnight. So we don't get to see it. But all these got killed today. DJT down almost $2. Finger down almost 10 cents. Just not a fun day. Not a fun day in the stock market. And why? Well, here's one reason. Let's go to Pedro. Pedro, smart man. Pedro says, early list of year-end markdowns by the cabal with added pressure of tax loss selling. No part order, just names out that look pretty obvious. BYON, RKT, AMC, I'll just call it the ones we know. Mullen, Finger, ENVX, DJT, GameStop, would expect more attack, he says. So he says, reminder, today and tomorrow, the last two trading names. A lot of names have already been marked down hard for year-end, which also begets year-end tax loss selling. Net, this always creates nice trading opportunities in many names, making my list now. So, in other words, Pedro's watching this. He's been Wall Street 40 years. He's letting us all know that this is, since they didn't get their Santa rally, and things are really crappy right now, liquidity-wise in the stock markets, they are pushing hard to keep these meme stocks down. They're pushing hard. They're fighting us down before the end of the year because they want to close the year out for tax reasons and, margin call reasons, all this stuff going on end of the year. What it means is that right now, our stocks might be lower than they're going to be for a while, because what happens after this, you come into the new year, all of a sudden you can get a pop. And he calls out Finger here, says, adding more trading stock here sure looks and feels like a total pin job for the year mark, plus some tax losses selling as well. Looks good for January bounce, trade candidate. Suspect a bit of patience might be in order, 165 plus trading target. So currently you can get Finger for about 118. This is a great turnaround. Obviously it's still lower than the 2 where it got attacked. But what I'm just trying to communicate as the, because this is not financial advice, but communicating to those who are worried. This is normal at the end of the year, especially in a bad month when December is bad, which is rare. But this has been one of the worst Decembers in recent memory for the stock market. So they're getting crushed. They're going to mark this down because there's a bunch of booms coming. Especially my number one is still DJT with the huge inauguration coming, a historic day in history. We have a stock that is owned over half by the sitting president, who is supposed to be, and I believe will be, the number one person to ever go after corruption in our modern times as the most powerful person in the world. And he owns this stock, this massively, heavily shorted stock that they crushed all year because they thought they could defeat him. And if they defeated him, the stock would die. They couldn't defeat him. Lawfare didn't happen. 91 indictments didn't work. Tried to kill him, didn't work. Remember when they heavily shorted it right before he was shot? Heavily shorted the day before he was shot. Didn't think it'd work. Thought they could steal the election. Didn't work. None of it worked. They couldn't kill him. Now they are stuck. They are stuck on a landmine, which is DJT. And to add fire to it, to add excitement to it, Pam Bondi, who's going to be confirmed as Attorney General. Mark that. I 100% guarantee Pam Bondi will get confirmed. She will be head Attorney General of the nation, head of justice in our entire nation. She owns over 100,000 shares. Kash Patel, who I 95% believe will be confirmed. In fact, I'll just call it now. He'll be confirmed as FBI director. One of the other highest seekers of justice investigations in the world, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Leader of that, director of that. He sits on the board. And Devin Nunes, former House Committee Intelligence Chair, is the CEO. This is a monster waiting to happen. And so if you guys are bummed it's down now, trust me, I can't guarantee anything. It's not financial advice, but everything to me looks like very green skies ahead for DJT. Obviously, if finger hits that 165, which Pedro's looking at, that's a great trade as well. I think DJT could double, triple, maybe more if it really breaks out in the next month or so. So get ready. Remember, right before the election, DJT ran up to $58. Don't forget that. Okay, like this stock is volatile. And on top of that, which I'm not in right now, GameStop is also looking very feisty. So don't be upset that these stocks are down. It actually might be a great buying opportunity. Your decision on that. Alan, haircut looks great. I haven't trimmed the beard. Looks respectful. Thank you. You know, I kind of let myself go after the election. I'm not going to lie. I was worn out. I was tired. I'd been going so hard with the content leading up to the election that after the election hit and we entered the holidays, my body, my mind just went whoosh. And I kept up. I kept doing it. But the truth is I needed the break I just had. So I'm ready to run now. And I have a lot of exciting plans for this channel and other things that coming into this new year. So Texas Lone Star, agree with my analysis on Speaker Johnson. Not the best, maybe the best we can get considering. I agree. Yeah, I think right now, absolutely. Brett, you watch everything going down miraculously and video is up. Pelosi's making that money. That's right. What's up, Rum Dog? I have no thoughts on Dogecoin. Sorry, Matt. Alan says, I said that a while ago about tax harvesting. I don't remember that, Alan, but I believe you. Damn it, no tornadoes are coming. Maybe for the shorts. Fox Hunter, what's up? He says, these stocks will never break out, is what I've learned. Aaron, if you mean breakout to $1,000, you have a very strong case there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they could still be significant trades. That's what I'm saying. I'm not calling for short squeezes. I'm just telling you guys that very good trades, I see very good trade opportunities here to make significant money back, that maybe you're down or maybe you can finally get ahead or really jump ahead if you catch a couple of these. That's what I'm saying. There's no price predictions here anymore of 1,000, 1,500. If that happens, we're just going to be happy it happens. But I'm not playing that game anymore. It's just, we're in such a mess that it's just irresponsible to say it. It is. So but we still can play the excellent trade game, and we take what we learn, we get better. And if we catch one, we catch one. Because they're possible. It's absolutely possible, especially if the stock market tanks. We could see massive short squeezes in some of these plays. But is it likely? The option, it's getting less likelier because of the mess we're in and because of the way they're able to manipulate things, even much more so than 2021 with GameStop. So it's tougher, but it does still happen. It's just tougher. Jake, at Ham's Twitter, there's a post, finger can go to 3,500 to 12,000. I mean, or 120,000. What the math says does not account for everything they can do to keep it down. And again, if it's between us getting major money, $10,000 a share in something, and the entire system going down, guess what? They'll not choose us. We'll still make money, but those numbers are harder and harder to believe are possible. Alan, remember, Speaker of the House has to negotiate with the other side. Only Democrats don't do that. Wish our side stood together. I agree with you. If our side stands tall, we can get a lot done. And yeah, NUKK went from $1 to 78 in 1 week. That's right. PJL, you're in one called PJL 90% insider ownership. I love it. I love it. Fro Girl, what's up? I've missed you. It's good to have you back. Okay, let's keep moving. This is ugly today. We got some stuff to cover for the economy. PMI came in today with manufacturing numbers way under estimation. Way under. Listen, when Trump tweets out yesterday, and I covered this last night, so I won't spend much time here, but when he mentions 1929 and depression in the same tweet, going over what our economy is looking into for 2025, again, it's a warning. And the signs are all there. Can it be escaped? Absolutely. Will it take a miracle? Absolutely. If things go the way they're looking, and it sure looks like they have set up this house of cards has been being built for years, but they've set it up to start pulling the cards. They're pulling out the Jenga pieces right now of this economy before Trump gets in. And their hope and what they're planning on doing, and we can see it in real time right now, is what they're planning on doing. They're pulling those Jenga pieces, and when Trump is in, they're going to pull the last couple right before he gets there. And unless there's a miracle, something's going to happen pretty soon, I think in the first half of 2025. And guys, a lot of the things we've been preparing for and talking about, I think are on deck. I could be wrong again. Timing is impossible but I mean, just look at the stuff they've been doing. Here's one. Federal Reserve is currently pumping $500 billion of repo liquidity into the banking system over the next 4 days and then pulling it away. What did I just say about Jenga, huh? It's like they give us a Jenga piece back and then they take it away. New York Fed desks to conduct additional overnight standing repo facility operation on each day beginning December 30th, today, till Friday. Aggregate operation limit of $500 billion will apply to combined daily operations. Desks to resume normal schedule per day between 1:30 and 1:45 starting on January 6th. So they are going to give us $500 billion in the repo facility, pushing it in over the next 5 days. And then suddenly Monday, January 6th, there's that interesting day again. All of a sudden they're pulling it all back. I don't know what effect this is going to have. I have no idea what this means as far as what to expect. But $500 billion just moving around over the course of a week on and being pulled back on the day Trump is supposed to be certified. That smells like some nasty smoke there, folks. Again, we just have to sit and watch because there's no way to predict how this will affect anything. It could be something they do. They just have it going on. No big deal. Everything passes, whatever. They've got a stress test going on. Who knows? But I can tell you, that's pretty strange. That is very strange. And the timing, as they say, is suspect. So there's some fun. The stock market is about to crash into extreme fear again. If that happens, we just got out of this, by the way. Remember the Dow was down, was it 10 days in a row, the most since 1974? That's 50 years, folks, that losing streak Dow just had. And we hit extreme fear. The bounced back a little bit, had that one green day to break the streak where it was up by like 15 points out of 43,000. I mean, they just barely got it there. Had another big day with 300 points or whatever, and has been crashing down since. Yes, they are marking it low for the end of the year. Yes, they're doing their tax law stuff. But what's the thing going to spring this forward? Now, we could totally enter a bull market in January. It could last for another 3 to 5 months. Who knows? There's David Hunter thinks that's what's going to happen. He's a very smart guy. He's called a lot of stuff so far. Is it possible? Absolutely. But it sure looks to me like they're setting up a rug pull for Trump. That's what it keeps looking like to me. Fro Girl, Schwab has been acting weird for you. Just checked your sell orders. All your sell orders for Finger and ZJOL are gone. Interesting. Hope they aren't going to pull shenanigans during a run. Well, they might, but hopefully not. We'll have to all be on top of things if we do catch a run. What's up, Cindy Lou? Matt, these clowns don't have 500 million to cover finger. Likely the federal government doesn't want to be responsible. If so, what happens? Let's wait. Well, that's what we got to do. Dubois, they're pulling 500 billion back to give to Ukraine. Wouldn't surprise me. There's no way they could get 500 billion to Ukraine right now. It's just impossible. Biden announced, I think it was today or yesterday, made a big deal of announcing that they were sending $2.5 billion to Ukraine. Now, $2.5 billion is a lot of money for me and you. It's nothing to our federal government. We've sent 400 billion so far to Ukraine, something like that, 300 billion. That's pennies to them. But they were excited about it. They were making a big announcement about it. Why? Because they don't have any money anymore from the House to do this. So what they're having to do is drag up any money they can find here and there in their discretionary spending left over for the federal government that the executive branch still has power over, which is not much. They're pulling it all together and they're feeding every last penny over there. Why? To give it to their donors, to give it to themselves. They're laundering all of it. It's such a racket. Hitting those deals they made with people in Western European countries. That's where that money's going. And the reason they're so desperate to get it over there is because they know the money train's about to dry up. And so that's why they're excited about $2.5 billion. There's no way they can move 500 billion. And that's not the Fed doing it anyways, but that's crazy. Alan, there's only one pipeline from Russia to Europe. Watch this. Europe is also going through a deep freeze. Same time we are heading, is weather being controlled? Maybe. It's possible. They did call for a big freeze last year and they ended up having a warm winter. So you just never know. You just never know. But let's keep moving. This is always a good sign. When 60% of people are expecting stock prices to rise over the coming year. It generally tends to be when the public sentiment has gone positive, the stocks go negative. And vice versa. So, this is a speculative, it doesn't really mean anything, but at the same time, it kind of means something. People have gotten comfortable. People are starting to believe that the stock market will never go back down. They're listening to Jim Cramer, even though they should know better. And what does that mean coming into it? I just think that that's usually a warning sign. All right. Another calling out of Ken Griffin, CEO of Citadel today. Listen, if this always makes me happy to see this as just a reminder, but Kristen Shaughnessy posted this today. And if anybody thinks Ken Griffin and Trump are in it together, this is just your proof they're not. He calls the incoming president a 3-time loser. He's CEO of Citadel. Citadel, one of the market makers, being sued for alleged market manipulation by NWBO. They're accused of illegally naked short selling DJT, named in congressional letter to leaders and regulators. Will Trump publicly demand trade settlement be enforced? I believe he might after he gets in. And I told you guys why he might not beforehand, because of the connections with DJT. He might just be playing it safe till he becomes president. Makes sense. Griffin's quote about Trump: "That's a 3-time loser. I like to think the Republican Party is ready to move on from somebody who's been in the party a 3-time loser." And then he goes on to win the election. I love it. And then they quote Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes is a proverbial loser who tries to blame naked short selling for his falling stock price. Nunes is exactly the type of person Donald Trump would have fired on The Apprentice. If he, Nunes, worked for Citadel Securities, we would fire him, as ability and integrity are the center of everything we do. Really. Interesting stuff. I think a war is brewing between Citadel and DJT. This gets me fired up for it, because they're not only calling out Trump now, they're calling out Devin Nunes. Why call somebody out? If they're not important, if they're not somebody to worry about, you leave them alone. But it's pretty obvious to me that Kenny Boy is worried. Something's about to happen. So get ready, folks. Pam Hayes, probably spoken about this before. How does a precipitous drop in the market help stock squeeze? The real quick answer to that, Pam, is that when the market tanks, okay, remember, the stock market is like this spider web, okay? And all these strings are wound together. And when the stock market crashes, okay, all the strings start breaking. Ding, 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 ding. Well, those strings that have been propping up the stock market are the same strings that have been holding down the stocks that want to spring up, because it's all manipulation. It's all liquidity that they use to do all this. And so they manipulate up, but they also manipulate stocks down. And so when the stock market tanks, all that money runs out, everything starts unwinding. They start scrambling to cover their losses. The algorithms go nuts. And all of the combination of all this and more allows all that holding these things down to pop up and finally release their pressure. Margin calls are a part of it as well. When all that money dries up, banks get desperate to get their money back because they're lending money all the time to let these guys invest more, make profits, and they pay off those loans with profits. But what they, when everything tanks, the banks are like, give us our money back, yo. The brokers are like, hey, give us our money back, margin call time. And that triggers their losses. And so all of that combined, I mean, it's very complex. And I need somebody who's like a super expert like Pedro to really break it down if you want all the details. But that is the simple layman's term version of it. And so just think of it as like this manipulated spider web of stuff that is it's holding everything up and down at the same time. And so when they invert, it gets ugly. Ficus, many sentiment indicators are about as positive they've ever been. Not good. I completely agree with you. Randy says Ken Griffin, crook and perjurer. Exactly. Among other things. All right, let's keep moving on. All right. The struggling reason they've been begging Fed to scrap capital requirements of U.S. Treasury holdings. Here's the story on this. After spending the last couple of years not questioning unreliable government employment inflation numbers, by the way, there's another tweak to employment numbers coming. They already did an 800,000 tweak a few months ago. There's another one, 600,000, that might be coming down the pike. Treasury's elite bond dealers will struggle to handle $50 trillion debt. As U.S. debt balloons, firms that play a vital role in ensuring the biggest bond market works properly warn of the risk of growing pressures. Again, this debt is starting to affect the bond market, and that's affecting the stock market, and it's all just kind of, this bubble is starting to really feel this pressure. There's a boil coming. Issuance has gone up almost threefold in the last 10 years. Anticipation is for it to close to double to 50 trillion outstanding in the next 10 years. You're trying to put more treasuries through the same pipes, but those pipes aren't getting any bigger. Amount of treasury debt outstanding has exploded by more than 15 trillion in the last decade. CBO projects chronic U.S. deficits will lift U.S. public debt to just over 50 trillion by the end of 2034. It's completely unsustainable. If Trump doesn't fix this, we will go through a depression. That's not just what Trump's talking about in his tweet. If this is not fixed in 10 years or so, 15 years or so, we will enter a depression that lasts 10, 20 years and will completely devastate everything we know about our country from a market standpoint and a financial economic standpoint. Does that have to happen? No. I think Trump's going to fix it, but just how crazy it is. But this pressure is starting to really affect the stock market as well. Did Citadel get fined for not margin calling recently? I don't know about that, Thomas. Could you send me that paper if you do have that? Did I see larger amounts of credit card bankruptcy? Yes, we're at record highs. I think I talked about that last night. Do we even know if margin calls exist anymore? Oh, they definitely exist. But they're all in a good old boys club where they let each other off the hook as long as there's money flowing. But listen, once the money stops flowing and it dries up, they all turn on each other. Vin says Trump's going to have an injunction filed barring Kenny Boy from getting access to stock debt. There you go. Alan, you don't think anyone can fix it? See, I disagree with you there. If we stop the spending, seriously dry it up, and we think about Japan right now. Japan still operates and they have way more debt to GDP ratio than we do. I think they're at 240%. They're much further along than we are on this road, and they're still surviving. We can survive this if we close up the spending and we unleash growth. We can grow our way out of it. A big boom of 5 to 10 years while also curbing spending, while setting the laws back to significantly make it harder to keep the spending, like to rev it back up again, seeing some entitlement reform, it can be done. It can 100% be done. It's going to be tough. It's going to be unpopular at times, but eventually it'll work if they're brave enough to do it. And then in 5-10 years, it gets way back into a manageable area. And if they did the right thing, setting forth going forward some major changes, the thing is, we're mostly in debt to ourselves, and because of that, we have options and ways we can fix it. So, thank you, Mark. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it, guys. Especially like and subscribe. If we can pass 100, I think just take 1 second, hit that like. Greatly appreciate you guys. Like if you think. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Probably have some fans in here. Don't want to hurt their feelings. But hey, subscribe if you're new. You like a daily breakdown of all this stuff going on. And yeah, I appreciate it. What happens if market bursts while GTI is frozen? It won't. Well, there's two answers to that. A, it could be really bad where GTI just ends. It finally gets back to trading and it's kind of a dud. And, everybody maybe gets out making a little bit of money or breaking even. The other side is that GTI, it's not trading. Everything goes bust. It goes back on, but it's after things have been fixed. And because things have been fixed, it enters a more fair, well-regulated market, and we're allowed to have a run. So there's two options there that I see happening. 2025, we thrive. By the end of the year, I think things will be getting really good. Matt, banks losing money because they over leverage. Yes, they never had intention of covering. That's 100% true, but it doesn't mean they won't have to. Thank you, Thomas. I'll look for it in a minute. Butters, Ken Griffin said all that bunk about Trump and Devin quite well. He did, but the point is to remember it, and it's getting to the point where Trump's about to be in office, and it's always good to remind people, because I always have people who, when it comes to this market stuff, people come up all the time who distrust Trump and think him and Kenny are in cahoots, that kind of stuff. Yes, I agree with you, Hero. They are trying to destroy it. Alan, remember, dollars based on debt. Nothing's back. That's absolutely right. Brian, why isn't there? But we could change that pretty quick, Alan. Just as quickly as we took the dollar off of gold standard, we can place it back on with the right moves. Why isn't there a BD company and won't allow naked shorting and lending out shares when the button says no lending? Broker dealer, I'm guessing you're saying. Bryant, if there are, there might be too small to matter. So, okay, let's keep moving here. This is our December. Look at this right here. So here is monthly market breadth on pace to hit an all-time low in December. Isn't that interesting? That's a percentage of stocks outperforming the S&P 500. This is the little stocks, okay? And right now we have it at all time. So all these little stocks, Russell 2000, all that, they're diverging from the big stocks. And they're becoming the place where you can actually seriously make some money. But nobody covers them except for the hardcore investors. But this is a divergence that we've never seen before. It's because the big seven move the entire market. They have like 40+% market share, maybe even higher, all-time high. It's because we're in a bubble. Those Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, it's Apple, Google, it's all just holding up the market. And that's very dangerous when very few stocks do that. And now in December, we're seeing that divesting get even bigger. All-time record this month. And some good news, because going back to Mike Johnson and the bill they passed, that $1,500 or 1,500-page bill would have allowed the censorship office to keep continuing that Obama put in place in 2016, right before Trump came in. This is the office. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but it's the GEC. I can't remember what that stands for. But they are the ones responsible for censoring everybody during COVID, getting into cahoots with Zuckerberg and the previous Twitter owners, all that stuff. They were the ones that pushing the office of truth when Biden came in, all going there. All started by Obama in 2016. And now, thankfully, because we defeated that bill, that 1,500-page bill with the help of Elon and the MAGA community rising up, Speaker Johnson shut it down. And now this censorship office is going bankrupt. So that's just a big win before we head in. I thought I wanted to share that, guys, with you. Okay, let me look at what you sent me real quick, Thomas. And Drew, if I can see yours. Let me look here. Okay, so here's the story on Ken Griffin. Thanks for Thomas for sharing this. It says regulators fined Ken Griffin's firm only $1 million for billions of misreported share data. So I don't see anything about margin calls here, but obviously, I mean, this is a nothing. they fined him $1 million for misreporting billions of share data, and I think this had to do with like the GameStop FTDs. So I did know this story. Yeah, it's just insane. Absolutely insane. Trump is going to use XRP. Maybe. I mean, it's very possible. There is some good stuff coming on with XRP for sure. Jeff says, any thoughts about reported weird fog? I haven't seen anything on that. So if somebody shares it with me, I'll look at it. Rumdog, didn't Biden say a smooth transition? Seems they're sabotaging us. Do they change the meaning of words again? Well, they like to do that, don't they? Yeah. I mean, the transition as far as their people, I haven't read anything that says it's not smooth. Now, that could be the media covering it up, or it could be that as far as bringing people on, showing them the ropes, giving, paperwork back and forth, maybe that is all smooth. And maybe that everything they're doing to hurt him is behind the scenes. I don't know. Brian, William, I'm not William, I'm Ace, but what do I think the broker-dealers do with the finger warrant while they try not to enforce it? This is a great question. I've answered this before, but the finger dividend, they cannot stop this one. GTI was on the lower markets. This is on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is vetted. It's professional. The traders wouldn't allow something like that to happen. If it gets cleared by the SEC to be on NASDAQ, they will have to allow it. That's just how it's going to be. It's a whole different animal if you're on NASDAQ, Dow, or on the S&P. It's just a whole different animal. And so that's much, much different than GTI's situation. By placing dollar back on gold reevaluate what U.S. is holding in Fort Knox if it's still there. I agree with you. And who knows if it's still there? We don't know anything. They could tie it to something else, though. So there's other. It's okay, Brian. No big deal. Negative trading has to be stopped because it's dilution. The companies didn't issue. Absolutely, Matt. I completely agree. Vin says every bank in Japan will officially use XRP in 2025. Now that's huge. So yeah, XRP, I'm hugely bullish on it. Right now it's low again, and it's a great chance to buy up if you guys believe in it. So, all right. A couple other things before I head out here that are just interesting and worth sharing. All right. This is the main reason, and I've talked about this with you guys before. This is the main reason I don't think Jerome Powell is a globalist. I don't think he's doing a great job. He might very well be trying to tank our economy for Trump, but I also don't think he's doing it. I don't think he's working with the Biden administration. The Fed just might be their whole thing. And here's why. If you look at this, 16 years ago, U.S. and EU companies were nearly equal in nearly equal in size. Today, U.S. economy is 50% larger than the EU. Europe's being strangled by EU and Commission President von der Leyen's red tape. That's part of this story, but the other part of it is that they cannot compete with us the way we've been raising rates and stuff because our dollar, we had a bunch of what they call the euro dollar just parked over there. As it gets more expensive with us because the rate's going up, it's throwing Europe into a tizzy. They need that cheap capital. And that's why their rates are much, much lower than ours, but their inflation's higher, but they can't do anything about it. And Powell is basically, everything he's been doing has been like a big FU to the EU and Lagarde over there just saying, hey, we don't care about you guys. That is not the policy of Greenspan, Bernanke, and Yellen, the globalists who ran the Fed before Powell. And you just see the difference here is massive. So Europe is Europe's basically on the border of collapse, economic collapse. It's way worse than we are. Whatever we go through could be really tough. If they go through it with what's going on right now, it'll be absolutely devastating. Ringing in the new year with a fresh record. Office delinquency rate rose 63 basis points in December to 11.01%, surpassing the 11% mark for the first time since TREP began tracking delinquency rates in 2000. In other words, folks, businesses be going down. So, does part of this have to do with remote work? A little bit. But this is the highest rate in office delinquencies since 2000. My friends, that tells you something. Our economy is not doing well. This is all heading into the new year too. New president. All the people who've been pumping this economy up are leaving. They have no incentive to do this anymore now that everything's been over. Get ready, people. Get ready. This is going to be 2025. I'm very excited about. I'm very hopeful having Trump in there. It's going to be great having an adult back in the office. We're winning the culture war. Things are turning around. Very much so. But the pain, the economic pain has not arrived yet. At least not the way it's going to. And it's looking more and more like 2025 could be the year for that. So, Hank is from Iowa. Who's Hanky? I don't know who that is. What's up, Croissant? Dar Daddy, what is going on? Get some XRP once it blows. Ain't coming back down. Thank me later. Love it, Dar Daddy. XRP is right around $2 right now, too. It's a great time to jump in. Rum Dog asks, am I having a New Year's Eve show? I'm glad you brought that up. Let me finish here, and then I'll get to that, because the answer is yes. But I'll talk about it in a second. And this is the last thing I wanted to share, because this is just funny to me. But this is why we're dumb money in their eyes. This is why things are able to be so manipulated, because we're just now learning as retail to really trade, to really how all this works. 90% of retail has only been trading since 2020. How crazy is that? I know I don't have a chart or a source here, but Finance Lot's a smart dude. I know he knows what he's talking about. But this is, they're talking about the lessons of 2008, and he's saying basically that in 2008, all this came crashing down, and it was mostly on the watch of 90% professionals, or maybe even more, 95% professional traders, people actively in the stock market, and then like 401ks and stuff, passive. Now we have active retail traders who have gotten in the stock market because of awareness and because of apps on our phone that made it easier than ever to do it. And 90% of those retail traders have never gone through a crash. And the fact is, folks, if we're not ready for this, if we don't have good plans, retail is going to lose a crap ton of money in all this. A crap ton when all this goes down. Because they don't know what they're doing. And that's another reason why also it's very possible the stock market crashes way further than ever before, because a lot of these retail traders will panic and get out. So this is the kind of thing to watch. It's just very interesting. Brett says, housekeeping, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks in advance. I appreciate you. Drew, tag me about the fog. Let's look at it, buddy. Fog. Surefire flashlight for Christmas. Best use case, show you fog here in Augustine, Florida. Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I hope that's not a toxic gas or something. I don't know, Drew. I'll have to pay attention to this more and see what's going on, but that is wild. That does not look like fog should look like. So oh, that's who I was just reading. Oh, okay. Thanks, Alan. AMC started back in 2020. Yeah, well, GameStop, I would say even more so. Steve believes in money velocity. Okay. I don't quite know what the money velocity theory is. I'll have to look into that. But, all right. So, speaking of tomorrow, we're at the end of tomorrow. We have New Year's Eve. I'm very excited about it because 2025 is coming, baby. And like I said, we have Friday. We have Republican Senate getting seated. Monday, we get the certification. There's interesting stuff coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. While also could get really wild. So I want to usher in the new year. I don't know when I'll start my stream yet. That's the only thing I don't know because I have a family. And so my family does not want to celebrate very much. My kids are already leaving. I think my son just wants to stay up and play video games. And my wife doesn't even like staying up late. So odds are I'll probably be on tomorrow around 10:30, 11 Eastern time. And I'm just going to go late. We're going to have fun. I'm going to have a few drinks. And we're going to talk about whatever. I'm going to open it up. And the fun thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some announcements about what I want to do with this show, what I want to do for the members. I want to make, I have some fun stuff I want to offer the members, make this even more valuable for you guys. And I guess got some fun stuff I want to announce. And I think we're just going to have a fun prediction show as well and make some fun predictions about 2025. We'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll carry on, we'll have a great time. What do you think? But for real, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a celebration to 2024, which in my opinion, thanks to the win we had and the way we pulled it off and how everything went. Honestly, guys, it was one of the best years of my life. This community is better than ever. I feel like I've gotten better at doing the show than I used to be. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to try to have some guests on tomorrow. I don't know if I can get on they're not as available as they were for the election, but I'm trying. Anyway, we're just kind of fun tomorrow. So come on, if you're not hanging out with family, which that should be number one. If you're not hanging out with friends, that should be number two. Come join the show. Have your favorite snack, have your favorite drink, whatever it is. And just let's watch, let's talk. Maybe we'll do some call-ins. Anything's possible tomorrow, but we're going to bring in the new year with some fun. That's what I'll watch these videos, Drew, when I get a chance. Vin with beats and guts. We can talk about that later. FFIE. Oh yeah. Thanks, Vin. I was going to talk about FFIE real quick. So FFIE has been going absolutely bonkers. This stock, ever since Kitty tweeted about it, it's just going nuts. And so the question is, I mean, look at the volume here. Let me make this smaller. 138 million traded today, almost 10 million in after hours, and just going insane. The question is, did we miss it? And that's why I'm like, I don't feel confident to jump in when someone's doing this, but you can just see the last 5 days, it's just been skyrocketing. If you go back year to date, here is where it peaked back in May, June, basically the equivalent of $90. I think they had a split though, right? Am I right about that? I could be wrong. Anyways, this is a huge move it's experiencing right now. Is something bigger coming? I don't know, but I wanted to share it with you guys because you guys could watch and make your own decisions on that. And maybe if you just want to throw a little bit at it just for a fun risk, who knows? Play a slot machine, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's up to you, or if you just want to watch and see other people make money. But I tell you, I would be careful right now because these things tend to burn out fast. But then again, you just never know. So they had a 21 split. Okay, I did think so because I was like, there's no way it went to 90 in May, but they adjust that price based on a split. That makes sense. So who knows how far it could go? 20-1 split's huge. That's a huge split, and for it to still be doing this, that's pretty crazy. But I think it's gonna be a great new year too, being pro. I still coming late. Alan says tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, listen. It's not easy to be on early. Okay, let me just put it that way. When you have 6 kids, so, and they're all home right now on vacation. Brett, your 2025 wish is Ken Griffin's on the P. Diddy list as a tented Epstein. That would be amazing. Probably, I read that already. I missed it at 10 cents 6 months ago. Yeah. They diluted like crazy, and they're still having this run. That's really interesting. That's interesting. Does AG1 have spinach? I don't know. FFIE projected to go to near 7. Now, who's making that projection, Vin? That's interesting. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll throw $100 at tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. we'll see. It'll be fun. Alan, you had 5. I got you beat by 1, man. But but you get the age, so the wisdom still teetering in your direction a little bit. When do we start the weight loss challenge? My last day of eating junk and having alcohol for a while is New Year's Day. So as of January 2nd, I am starting a protocol, and I'm going to invite whoever wants to be a part of it with me. We can do it together, but this is all stuff I want to talk about tomorrow because I'm hashing out some things. The official launch for some of the new stuff I'm going to be doing will be next Monday, the 6th, but we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. So anyways, and speaking of 6, Darday says 6 big respect, bro. Somebody asked me, how do I have a car that fits everybody? And I'll tell you right now, Honda, baby. Honda Odyssey fits 8 people comfortably, works great. And then I myself drive a Honda Pilot, which also fits 8, although a little less comfortably. You can really squeeze them in the back. But yeah, it's I got 2 cars that fit 8, and it's awesome. I love them.